Kettlebell Drenga. Rating season is upon us. The battle for the title of North American champion returns to the Twin Cities for the 2024 WKSF North American Championship. Register today for your chance to fight for glory and claim your spoils. Registration is available now for only $80 with raffle prizes for all competitors and the opportunity to win cash prizes for the top performers. We will be back at the Athlete Lab in Little Canada, Minnesota on Saturday, September 28th, and accepting video submissions for online competitors. Go to TwinCitiesKettlebellClub.com to register today. Come, answer the call of battle. Join us and fight for your clan, fight for yourself, and claim your spoils and your glory. And may your name forever ring out in the Hall of Champions. Sign up today at TwinCitiesKettlebellClub.com. Welcome to the Platform Podcast, where we talk to coaches, athletes, experts, and real people to learn about their approaches to training, nutrition, mindset, and much more. I'm your host, Jordan Kundi Wright, founder and head coach of the Twin Cities Kettlebell Club, and our mission is to become our best selves through sport. Friendly reminder that registration is open for the WKSF North American Championship, the fourth annual kettlebell competition here in the Twin Cities, and it will be hosted on Saturday, September 28th by our friends at the Athlete Lab in Little Canada, Minnesota. And just like we did last year, we'll include an option for video submissions for participants who can't make it in person, and you'll be eligible for all of the same prizes as in-person competitors. Just go to our website, TwinCitiesKettlebellClub.com, for more details. Now, on this episode, my guest is my good friend, Matt Borris, who is a Canadian kettlebell lifter, a CrossFit coach, and has recently become a certified nutrition coach. In this episode, we talk through some of his frameworks, how he coaches his athletes, the things that have been successful for him in his own personal weight cut that he's doing, as well as why the summertime might be just the best time that you could do a weight cut. Now, the Platform Podcast is available as a video podcast on YouTube, so please go to my channel at Twin Cities Kettlebell Club, give us a like, a subscribe, and click that little bell to get notified when new episode releases. And of course, if you want help reaching your goals without wasting time, please fill out the coaching interest form linked in the show notes. I help athletes of all levels using my integrated coaching approach. You can follow me on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube at Twin Cities Kettlebell Club, or email me at TwinCitiesKettlebellClub@gmail.com. And if you can make it up to Canada for the Riddlestruck Open on July 27th, I would highly recommend going. It is a great competition, and we do have a reciprocity agreement in place with the CKA and the AKLU, so that no matter which side of the border, Canada or the United States, you live on, you can qualify for your national team at either their competition or my competition. So please support both competitions if you can. You can lift video submission or you can lift in person. I recommend doing in person at both, of course. All right, without further ado, let's step onto the platform with Matt Borris. All right, welcome into this week's episode of the Platform Podcast. I am super excited to welcome back my good friend, Mr. Matt Borris. He is a Canadian kettlebell sport lifter, a functional barbell fitness instructor at a gym that resembles something that rhymes with Smoshmit, and a good friend, and also a recently certified nutrition coach. Welcome back to the Platform Podcast, Matt.
Thank you much, sir. Always fun. Thanks for having me back on. It's been a while.
It has been a while since we've been on the Platform Podcast, but
is
Matt
true.
and I often exchange memes about his overlord, the Ayatollah of Fluffy, also known as Bosco, and we share a lot of cat memes back and forth, and then a lot of kettlebell stuff and football stuff. But so we don't go long without talking. But it's been a while since we've been on the podcast together.
Absolutely. I think it was when we the last one when I interviewed you.
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot about that.
Yeah, when I took over your podcast, you can have it back, but I appreciate coming back on.
I appreciate you ceding control of my own podcast back to me. That was very kind of you. There's a peaceful transition of podcast power, which we're all about here. So tell me, man, you've been like doing a lot more CrossFit recently than kettlebell sport lifting. How's that been going?
It's been good. So yeah, I'm coaching at Conquer Fitness, the same place we held Riddlestruck Open last year. So I've been doing that about a year. Yeah, the CrossFit stuff's been a little bit more time consuming. Definitely part of my training to be able to do it. So I don't actually have a L1. I don't have a CrossFit certification. I'm getting most of my training done by Drew and Nick, or the two coaches. Drew's been on the podcast. So been doing a lot of that. Still have been doing the kettlebell stuff. So up until I injured myself last week, because it's what I do. There's competition coming up. Why wouldn't I get hurt? Um, it was about 2 times a week of kettlebell sport specific, and then 3 to 4 CrossFit.
Nice. So what have you found to be the best benefits to CrossFit training in conjunction with kettlebell sport?
There's a lot to take away. So the first part I think really helps is it kind of breaks up the monotony can be come with kettlebell sport. We're doing the same we're doing the same movements over and over again. So this has been something, helps break it up. Really look forward to getting back underneath the bells. We do a ton of conditioning. We do a ton of mobility, which really helps. We do work a lot on grip strength. It's also really good for mental training, where we our programming is not easy at all. You often see some of it. So really being able to focus in, grind down, and commit to something really, really good. Did compete in the Open this year for my first time. Those were interesting experiences. Uh, and we also did the quarterfinal and semifinal workouts. The semifinal ones were scaled, but it's definitely helped with my strength. It's definitely helped my mobility. It's keeping my conditioning way, way up there. I can do kettlebell training on my own, but when I see, my coach Steve, and Matt, after this, go ahead and do 100 burpees and this and that. Yeah, doesn't really happen. So it's been really, really great. And I've been noticing when I'm getting underneath the bells, I'm at a much higher place to start, and it's been going really well, barring the injuries though.
Yeah, hopefully it's a minor injury, right? It sounds like you tweaked something in your back. It's nothing catastrophic, right? Like
No, it's that
just a minor
reoccurring
setback.
annoying injury. It's doctors seem to think it's a bulging disc. It just happens once in a while. And treating it right now. So, walking again, which is great. It's so helpful. Feeling a lot better. So was kind of hoping to do a bigger set for Riddlestruck Open at the end of the month, but I think I'm gonna have to be a little more cautious and pull it back a little bit, and maybe see what you're doing, and lift beside you.
Try and outlift the guy who's been very, very sporadically training with kettlebells and not doing CrossFit at
Yeah,
all.
exactly. Yeah, yeah.
That okay. All right. Yeah, that sounds good. Um, this is an easy or simple question, maybe not easy to answer. Which is harder as a 6'4" athlete, um, kettlebell sport or CrossFit?
Big question. When it comes to CrossFit, I think it would very, very, very much depend on what the workout is. Being 6'4", it helps
I rounded
on a
down to
rower.
make myself feel taller, just so you know.
Yeah, it's more 6'4 3/4", but whatever we have to. You can say 6'2" if it makes you feel better. I'm okay with that. As long as I'm still taller, that is the important part.
You are still taller. Nobody
It's kind of my
denies that.
thing. I'm the tallest. Um, so yeah, it depends. If it's a workout with a ton of burpees and such, I really struggle with those. Much harder. You get me on a rower, you get me doing wall balls or box jumps for something being a little bit taller. Helps. Really good there. And the mental part of kettlebell sport will always be the hardest, because at least in a wad I can break things up as I need to. There really is no breaking it up. You pick them up and you keep going, and then you're done. So um yeah, like I said, it's very different, but I would probably say physically the CrossFit's harder, mentally kettlebell sports harder.
Okay. That's a reasonable answer, I guess. That makes sense. Do you find there are certain workouts, like some of the named workouts, Fran, and
Yep.
all of the Medusa names, but
The witches.
are are there certain workouts that you're just like, fuck my life. I'm too tall. I'm too tall for this workout. Like, are there ones that you just see those on the docket and you're like, I might be sick that day.
Yeah, absolutely. I find some of them, I'm pretty comfortable with a barbell, and I really enjoy it. Barbell's probably my favorite portion of CrossFit, and if you ever see our programming, we take barbell very seriously. You've met Drew. Our technique is what we do it 3 to 4 times a week. There's a barbell in our hand. So you give me something like that. You get me like one of the Grace workouts, which is 30 clean and jerks at 135. Love it. You get me some of them like this year 24.1. It was basically dumbbell snatches and like 95 burpees. I I
Tall guy workouts.
Oh yeah, it was
Great
hard.
one.
I'm
Great
still
one
not
for
over
guys
it.
that got to move the bell, twice as far as the short people.
Yeah, yeah, so those ones I kind of see. My strengths are always kind of the quick twitch, short burst strength. So the shorter wads, the 7 to 8 minute AMRAPs or those type of things, definitely more in my wheelhouse. The long cardio, lots of body weight stuff because I have a lot of it. Um, Definitely struggle with a little bit more, and I'm not the greatest with gymnastics. I'm pretty sure if my owner ever saw me try to do a handstand walk, his liability insurance would triple immediately. So I
I
don't
think
go
they
upside
have a
down too
rider
often.
in his policy that you're not allowed to do handstand walks, or his policy is null and void.
It's definitely not something in my wheel. So those are the kind of things that I struggle a little bit with. But you get me a heavy barbell. I'm pretty good on the rower. Middle distance running, I can get the legs going. The bike, those are kind of the things that I see. I'm like, I can get a little growly behind this one.
Is there anything that you're like not very good at and yet you for some reason love doing it? Like me in long cycle.
Oh God. Um, Jeez, I love doing it, but I'm not good at it. Yeah, so anything on the rig, like I'm not the greatest with pull-ups and like this, but I'm actually oddly enjoying them. I really like doing toes to bar, even though I can only do like 3 to 4, like linked. I think the most I've ever done is 8. So, eh, I'm not the best at them, but it kind of is exciting when you hit this. So that'd probably be one where I like it, but I know it's definitely not in my wheelhouse, but I like doing it anyways.
Okay. And now you're supposed to have if I recall correctly, if the memory of the group chat serves me right, you're supposed to have a CrossFit throwdown with one Dr. Sarah Fornero, Samerica, who also has been, focused a lot on CrossFit as a way of maintaining her overall conditioning. And you guys are supposed to have a CrossFit throwdown. Who's deciding what workout you're doing? Because based on what you said earlier, I feel like there's going to be some griping if there's a lot of burpees in there, or if there's any of those movements that we know favor the shorter person. I have a feeling there's some pre-excuses that have already been made as to why Samerica is probably going to smoke you in CrossFit.
Yeah, I definitely I'd be putting money on her as well. I think if I get Drew to make these workouts, I might have to bribe him a little bit and just lots of rowing. Let's get on that. Rowing and bike at the same time, and some wall balls or just things like that. I'll have to do. But yeah, she's been taking it pretty seriously, and she's an athletic freak. So it's and she just loves the pain and she'll be able to grind through things I think it's going to be very very workout dependent
And
about
how are we scoring this? Has there been an established scoring mechanism for this competition, or is this going to be like all of our other impromptu fitness competitions where it's like basically whoever quits first or throws up first?
yeah, well, even if we throw up we're going to keep going like that. I'm not stopping. So I think it's going to be a little bit workout dependent. See if it's a chipper where you have to get X amount of work done, so you do it for time, or if we do a couple AMRAPs. I'm thinking there might have to be a couple workouts in there. So It's going to be interesting. Yep, I think our group is going to enjoy watching Sarah and I try to kill each
I'm
other.
definitely going to enjoy watching.
Yeah.
That will definitely be a thing that I will enjoy. So it's happening during the Riddle Struck weekend, which is when this is your chance to plug the Riddle Struck competition coming up.
So the competition is Saturday, July 27th. It's in Conquer Fitness in Oakville, same place we held it last time. So yeah, we'll
in
be
the
doing it
GTO, the Greater Toronto area, for those of you that don't know, the GTA, sorry, the Greater Toronto
GTA. Yes.
GTA, sorry,
Yes, we're about
Greater Toronto
40
area.
minutes 40 minutes west of Toronto. So pretty central location, which is fantastic for people coming in from Toronto or Ottawa. We was a big group out there in Ottawa. We also have a fair amount of people on your side of the border already signed up coming up because it is a qualifier for Worlds. Do we know where Worlds is yet?
We do not yet know where the 2025 WKSF Worlds are going to be, but I am really excited about the fact that this is the first cross-border qualifier that I think has ever happened across. So the uh, I'm blanking, CKA, right? It's
Yep.
CKA on your side of the border.
Yep.
So the CKA, the Canadian Kettlebell Alliance, and the AKLU, the American Kettlebell Lifters Union, have agreed to reciprocity so that anybody can come compete from either side of the border. So if you go compete at Riddlestruck as an American, you can qualify for the AKLU American team, or if you're a Canadian, you can qualify for the CKA national team, and vice versa, right? So that's pretty cool, and we're going to be doing that at my competition as well, the WKSF North American Championship in September. So we've got some little NAFTA type cross border reciprocity agreements in place, which I think is really freaking cool. Like I'm actually
Yeah,
really
you guys have
excited
done
about
such a
that.
great job just kind of taking down some of the the divide. And it's we're a small and growing sport, and it's great that we can really try to get people traveling to these different events because once you start traveling for these things, it's such a great time. It's such a great community, and going to be able to all of us to be meeting up a little bit more and making new kettlebell friends. So it's fantastic. You guys have done a great job with that.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, we're very excited about that. But I don't want to take the spotlight away from Riddlestruck. You guys do a great job. It is always a super fun competition. It's always incredibly well run. I love the space that you guys are in. It was really minus the minus the middle of the day rainstorm that then like turned the humidity up to like 80 in the gym. Like we were all
That was
super
so
excited when it
brutal.
started raining. We were just like, please just keep raining. So it's then like 65, 70 degrees the entire day. But no, it rained for what, like an hour, and then
At
and then it
most.
got and then it got hot again, and now it was hot and sticky. But we don't control the weather. That doesn't change the fact that it's a great venue. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, we're really looking forward to it. We've really kind of figured out how to plan these things, and uh hoping to make it a little bit better than last year. We're always trying to do that one step up. So but we have great registration so far. We're expecting significant more, so we're hoping maybe 60 plus lifters this year, which would be
Nice.
amazing. We're doing all the normal kettlebell sport lifts, half marathon, in marathon, and we are having the video submission option. We're not holding Zoom lifts this year, so that's kind of taken off the table. So
Good.
yeah, it's we're at a point now where we're post COVID and time to start traveling, and if you need to do a video submission, you can do that. But yeah, we're kind of done with the Zoom list. I think a
Yeah, the
lot of
live the
people are
live
focusing.
Zoom in addition to live in person and video recording seems a little bit too redundant. There's a little bit too much there. It puts a lot on the organizers. It puts a lot on the judges.
Yeah, it really does. So we just decided to get rid of it this year and just have the two options. But if you want to qualify for any national team, you do have to be there in person. So feel free to you can see the link in my Instagram, and you can reach out with us any questions. And we've arranged for travel notes. There's a hotel really close nearby. We've already reserved a block of rooms. So we got about a month left. So got to get some training in and get everyone there. But yeah, if you're thinking about showing up,
And
do it.
registration closes what, a week before the lift, right? A week
A
before first
week
bells go
before
up.
the lift, yeah, that's
Yeah.
when we're going to start getting the master schedule going. Just we need some time with that. Now we have so many more people, so about a week before we're gonna close that up.
All right, awesome. And what about sponsors? You guys always have good sponsorship and prize giveaways. I think last year you guys handed me some weird looking Canadian thing that was like cash. I don't know. It had like a queen on it and stuff. I don't know. It was weird.
Yeah, Monopoly money, right?
Yeah, I spent it on beer or whiskey. I don't remember.
Probably whiskey.
You guys
Yes, we
tell me,
we
tell me
do
about the
have some.
prize packs.
Uh, so we do have some sponsors already. I believe Pro Kettlebell is in already. I believe Kettlebell Kings has helped us out. Uh, Phoenix Wellness is offering a prize too. So we're still getting the last few of them up and running, but we're definitely reaching out to all the people that have helped us in the past, and reception's been fantastic. Like this in this sport, everyone's trying to grow and trying to help, so it's been fantastic.
Yeah, that's great. Phoenix Wellness. That's new. Professional segue. What? So tell me about Phoenix Wellness, Mister Certified Nutrition Coach. Let's talk about that.
Yes, so I finished my nutrition coaching certification. So I already had about a couple years ago. I did the ISSA nutrition, which is a little more the science based. Decided I really wanted to take this very seriously. I've been on my own nutrition journey for a couple years now, and very very interested in it. Always trying to learn about it. So I decided I really wanted to get a great certification to teach me how to coach. Um, Found a friend of mine, Jen Boxerman, who you have had on the show twice,
Yep.
and she
Prosper
off
Nutrition.
Prosper Nutrition certification. Um, Absolutely amazing. Like, she's an utterly brilliant woman, and the course was fantastic. Really teaching a lot of strategies on how to coach people. And good nutrition coaching is not just macros and meal plans. It's problem solving, it's understanding the individual person, really being empathetic. And that's one of the reasons I chose to go with her. We had a fantastic conversation one day, and our ethics lined up amazingly well, and her approach was fantastic. So I finished that certification in February, and just been slowly getting everything kind of up and running and going. So
Nice. And so you went with Phoenix Wellness and as the name. Why Phoenix Wellness?
I really like the idea about coming from within. So, we can all do this. We all have, the ability to make great changes in our life. And that's what I really want to try to focus on. When I'm coaching my nutrition clients, it's not me telling them what to do. It's their lead. I'm here to support. I'm the son on the side. I'm helping navigate, but it's all about that person becoming what they want to become. So whether we're talking about weight loss, whether we're talking about weight gain, athletic performance, one of my clients doesn't own a scale, but we're working on keeping her anxiety under control, and we're using nutrition to help with that. So these are all the things that we can work on that I coach people with. So the Phoenix idea really kind of resonated with me. I love that from with it, that within idea.
Okay. So I'm curious. The working with a client who doesn't own a scale, who's working on their anxiety. Tell me a little bit more about that, because that is a unique use case, and it's that is something that you don't hear a lot. I love it because I very much believe in the power of habits and nutrition and all of those things, and like exercise and nutrition have just as good of clinical outcomes as medication does for a lot of people with anxiety disorders. So I'm curious what that process has been like, as much as you're comfortable sharing.
Yeah, absolutely. I won't use names. Obviously, that's always confidential. But it's one of the things we looked at where she's very confident in her body. Her boyfriend still loves her. She does not care, but massive anxiety issues. Almost a workaholic. She works a ton, and we were talking, and I really could kind of focus that her eating was so sporadic. There would be days where she wouldn't eat until 9 o'clock at night, or what's she eating, and when she's eating on the run. And this was really triggering, obviously, her cortisol levels, that are action hormone. So we've been working on trying to create a more balanced approach to help keep that cortisol rush away. Because when our body isn't getting food, we sense that as stress, and that's where a lot of her anxiety. So one of the biggest things we've had to do is get her eating breakfast. So not a breakfast person, and it's funny because I completely understand. When I started my journey, when I tracked my food for the first time, in a week I had 450 calories of breakfast the whole way. We
I
have
had more
more
than 450 calories for breakfast today.
absolutely. Part of my I'm usually for myself trying to target about 800 to 1100 calories before 11 a.m. I find that helps with my anxiety. It helps keep me fueled for the day, and it helps to keep that snacking and everything else kind of on the wayside because I'm not getting those hunger cues. So with her, it's been a big process of trying to change a little bit of her daily routine, trying to make some healthy choices a very easy choice, which is I'm very, very big supporter of controlling our environments, setting our environment up for success. I know when Jen was on the show, she talked about your toothbrush.
Yeah.
You have three because that's what you need. You set yourself up for success by creating your
Yeah.
environment. So we've been working a lot on that. So breakfast, a major key, forcing herself to do that. It has been a struggle. It's not always consistent, but what has been really helpful is the small little steps that we've been implementing along the way. We're noticing it's working. And motivation doesn't create action. Action creates motivation. We see the process, we see something working, and we want more of it. And we start to trust the process. So it's been absolutely fantastic when she can tell me, I did have my breakfast, I had a healthy snack, I had a little thing at bed. I'm not doing one meal anymore and just screaming. It's been helping her emotional health, which is fantastic.
So how do you know when you're not tracking, right? Because
Yep.
she's not tracking. How do
Yep.
you know something's working if you're not tracking macros? How do you know that something is working, like a change that you're trying to make?
Yeah, fantastic question because I don't always believe macros are needed. I'm on a weight cut right now. I'm not using macros. So what are we noticing? One, mood. How is your mood feeling? Two, how are your clothes fitting? Three, energy levels. Four, sleep quality. And when that's the feedback I've been getting from her, where I'm sleeping better, I'm waking up with more energy, I'm not having that day that crash. I'm down from 7 cups of coffee a day and energy drinks to two or three.
It's a
Again,
lot.
if you're not eating and not eating consistently, you got to find your energy somehow, right?
Yeah.
And it's not the greatest solution. So these are all the things that she's been noticing we're doing and really working for her. So yeah, it's all about biofeedback. I mean, we can
So do
how you
you
can
track that
tell.
biofeedback then, or is she journaling that, or is that just like a weekly check-in call, or how do you guys track
Absolutely.
progress?
So yeah, what we do is something similar to this. So this is my handy dandy little
It's all
intake
it's all
form.
blurred because of the background blur, but
Ah,
it's all right.
so basically, it's an intake, a food record form. So I'm not asking for calories. I'm not asking for macros on it. It's time. What did we have roughly? Description. And the last column is how do you feel? So a lot of people, another client I had her do this, and every time breakfast, still hungry. Lunch, still hungry. Dinner, overate, feel gross.
Weird.
She showed it to me, and she immediately could tell, "You're going to tell me I don't eat enough, aren't you?" I'm like, "Yes, yes, I am. You saw your
Two
biofeedback right
thirds
there."
of the time, you don't eat enough. 2 out of
Yeah.
3 meals, you don't eat enough.
And, that's something when we're doing that basic tracking, not, calorie counts. How do I feel? What's the biofeedback? Am I sleeping like crap? These are all the things that will start to tell us if what we're doing is working. And sometimes we come back saying, hey, you know what? Still not sleeping. You know, trying this, can't sleep. Then we know we can take another action step. So I don't have DOS process. A lot of people say, oh, it's all individual. But it's only just I just changed the macros based on your age, sex, and what you've done. Very different here, where we really take kind of a more individual approach. Macro might not be for everyone, especially people with any disordered eating or anything like this. That idea of tracking and staring at those numbers can actually be detrimental and will stop the process. So we always find other ways. Our body will always tell us exactly what we need if we learn how to listen and we can start to interpret what we feel. And that's where I kind of come in. We can talk about when I'm feeling anxious or when I'm feeling tired or how this, and we can start to come up with ideas.
So you're still tracking behaviors, and you're still tracking habits, and you're building awareness through a process of eating, writing down what you eat and how it's making you feel in a consistent way that still creates visibility, but without the rigors required of, I carry a food scale in my purse.
Right.
Like I always order butter, no, grilled vegetables with no butter at the restaurant, and have, yeah, et cetera, et cetera. Like
Yeah.
some of the extreme things that we've gone through.
Oh, exactly. So here's another way we can do it. I know it's kind of a little bit blurry right now, but what it is basically a calendar. And with this particular client, we're trying to focus more on eating whole foods. So foods that she's preparing herself, things you can name, not Mama Luigi's big chicken stir fry, a chicken breast. So, and after every meal, if it's, she kind of stuck to the plan, she felt good about it, it's a green happy face. Was it a meal that wasn't the greatest? I did have to stop for a little bit of takeout. I got something a little bit healthier, but not the best thing I've ever done. It's yellow. If it's one of those meals where, we don't want to base our entire nutrition life on, but if you enjoyed it willingly, intentionally, and with joy, cool, that's a red. So that's how I kind of classify a lot of the foods. I know food is ever bad. Food is an abnormality. But green, what do we want to be basing our nutrition on these types of foods? Yellow, okay, not bad. We're not going to make, everything. And then red are those happy meals.
Yeah,
Those
should be limited, but they have their place, right? Like
exactly.
they should be, they're not the foundation of your nutrition, but they have their place in a
Yep.
sustainable approach to healthy eating.
Exactly. So we track that way, and this is also a great tool to shut up that inner bully, that voice we have in our head that wants to tell us we're a piece of crap. You know what? Maybe, that voice is only focusing, hey, in that week I had 5 red dots. We have 30 green. You're doing great. You can actually see and like visualize I'm all these things I'm doing right. And then, we can sometimes approach, it seems every single night you're having a red dot food. What is it? Yeah, I like a snack. Okay, so maybe this is something that we start to work on if we want to bring down those unhealthy snacks. So great way of tracking that, great way of seeing it and being able to visualize all the progress, everything you're doing right, and also identifying, where some of those areas maybe we're going to work on a little bit. Is there a low hanging fruit there that we can start to target, to keep going on our journey?
And now I can think about this intuitively in how it might manifest for me, because obviously it comes back to being about me. We can, if I know if I have anxiety, I am kind of prone to I'm prone to comfort eating. I'm prone
Yep.
to, right, like unlike the person you were talking about, who when they're anxious they just don't eat. And my wife can be that way, where she just won't eat because she's too busy, too anxious. She's just go 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 go. Whereas I'm like, oh, me not happy, worried about work, worried about kids, worried about whatever, and it's like Cheetos, right? Or
Yeah.
what, like, any number of things. How would your approach, I was going to say system, but like, how would your approach, your framework, how would that apply for someone who's maybe responding completely different to the other end of the spectrum, but from the same root cause?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's such a great question. So a lot of us, and I'm with you, we will use food as a way of, for stress or boredom. So there's a couple things I try to coach people on. My big first step is we want to try to create a degree of separation between the urge and the action. So like I said, you're feeling stressed and I'm going for those Cheetos. Okay, how do we potentially make a little bit of a gap? So one, I have a 15-minute rule. I want a piece of pizza. Do I really want it? Okay, I can have it in 15 minutes. Give myself a chance to think about it, to slow down. I don't set a timer. And at the end of that 15 minutes, if you still want it, okay, we can do it. But what we also look at is you're craving something, you're feeling something, you eat to have a desired effect. So, like you just said, you feel stressed out, you're eating, and it makes you feel better and makes you feel happy. Can we change something? Can we change that middle step as opposed to not eating? Give you a perfect example. Great story. Woman studying for her medical exams. So tons of studying, lots of stress. She stress eats. She needs a break. She goes, she has something to eat, but then she feels satiated because she gets a break and everything like this. So how do we change that? So she came up with the 3 S's. Instead of eating, her first S is sleep. Go take a quick power nap, go to bed if it's late, have that break. That's going to give her that break she needs. Number 2, shower. Jump in the shower, remove yourself from the day, clean off, feel better. Number 3, and her boyfriend's personal favorite, sex. She'd go and jump her boyfriend.
All right.
So
A plan I can get
she's
behind.
exactly. So we're not telling her like some of those predatory diet companies, you're feeling the urge, just willpower through it. You're allowed to feel that urge. You're allowed to feel what you're feeling. All we're going to try to do is find a healthier and more beneficial release to get to that desired feeling you're having. So we can do that, all that's exercise, whether that's walking. Again, it all depends on the particular person, what they're feeling, what they have access to, and what do they find happiness out of. So these are all the types of things that we would want to use. And again, it's not because we're not coming down and saying, just don't do it.
Yeah.
Just willpower yourself through it. If you're dependent on willpower, it's like depending on your lower back for a deadlift. It will give out at some point.
This is applied cognitive behavioral therapy for my psychology nerds out there in practice, right? For creating a habit change. I love it. Identifying the antecedent and what's the root cause and what's the benefit that they're getting from that behavior, and just replacing that behavior with a healthier behavior that aligns with the long-term goal.
And not listening to that inner bully saying you shouldn't need this, just power through it. Tell that voice to shut up.
Yeah.
Just find a different way.
That isn't a really important step. I think that part gets overlooked too much, because then you're doing something that's antithetical to what the overall goal is, which is the overall goal is to be able to listen to our body, understand what our urges are actually driving towards, what they actually want, what is the actual thing that we need from that. And it's, well, I want to feel less stressed. That's what I really want. I want to feel less stressed, right? And so the choice that I might be making might be, I'm going to drink some bourbon, and that's a short-term fix, but it's actually deleterious to my longitudinal goals of being happier, healthier, whatever, replacing it with a
100%.
better choice.
Yeah. So mindset is always the most important. I know, Jen shared this, but our iceberg of success, mindset, environment, habits are all the most important. Willpower is the tip of the iceberg. We need a little bit every once in a while. Absolutely. But again, it cannot be the foundation of everything. Some of those other diets, you're going to be hungry the entire time. You're going to be miserable, but stick to it. Willpower. How long is that going to last? I know you said you could do it for 90 days. Most people can't.
Yeah.
And that's exactly how that carousel comes. They see progress. They're miserable, but it's coming off. They eventually snap. That company tells them, you were doing so well, and you just failed.
Well, and you know what?
Your fault.
I can also say I used to be able to do it for 6 months. And before I did it for 6 months, I did it for 9 months. But you notice every time that I did it, the duration I could tolerate it got lower and lower and lower, right? So that's why I'm like, I know now that like 90 days is about as long as I can do a cut before I, at least a super aggressive cut or anything unsustainable. Like I can do unsustainable things for about 3 months is about my time limit now.
Depending on the person, that's usually where I kind of aim for the fat cut to last about 3 months, 12 weeks. After that, it starts to we need to get out of there, come back to maintenance. We want to be living most of our life at maintenance. So any kind of fat cut needs to be very specific, direct, and in and out. The people who have been trying to lose those 5-10 pounds for the last 10 years, it's because they're always dieting, and then they yo-yo, and then they come back. But I can do it this time, but I didn't. That's what has stuck.
I lost 10 and I gained 15, and then I lost 10 and I gained 15. It's like, oh, over time you're actually getting progressively worse. The more times you repeat this cycle, you're actually moving further and further away from where you actually want to be in the long term.
And then they just tell you, oh, just sign back up. Oh, look, 6 more months of sales. Great. No, that's it's very much a business. And I when I first started this, I remember I already had a coach, Steve, but a friend of mine was on one of the predatory diet companies, and she's, I'll give it a free trial. So I was about 260 pounds at the time, and so call it, I think it was like 34 to 3600 calories, probably my maintenance. Yeah, they wanted me on 1575. I'd probably lose some weight before I kill everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll do the trick for a short period of time.
Yep, but the way it comes off is the way it has to stay off, and I can't live at 1600 calories for the rest of my natural life.
Yeah, that makes sense. You mentioned that you've been on a weight cut yourself, and that
Yep.
you're doing a weight cut now. So I guess first of all, how is that going? Because you're doing it without tracking, and I know you've been posting some progress updates on your social media feeds for Phoenix Wellness. So
Yep.
how is it going for people that haven't been privy to that?
It's been going well. So I'm about 5 weeks in. Again, I'm kind of aiming for the 12-week mark. I am gonna have a couple breaks in there. I go my own biofeedback. At certain points, I'm gonna need to increase my calories a little bit. Still in a deficit, but much closer. Been going really well. I started off at 237. I weighed myself on Saturday because I only weigh myself on Saturdays, and I was at 228. So been feeling fine. It's been going quite well. The biofeedback's been good. I'm not getting any crazy cravings. My sleep quality is still really well. My energy level is really good. So I'm hoping to be able to push 2 or 3 more weeks before I come to my first break. But we'll see. Kind of the no real end goal. Where I think if I could get down to the low 220s would be awesome. And then I'd bulk back up to 230. I think 230 is it's a happy weight for me. I'm still strong, still feeling okay, but right
Yeah,
with that thing.
that was gonna be my next question is how has performance in the gym been aside from the back flare up, but that's orthogonal to the deficit.
Yep.
How's your performance been in the gym?
Been really, really well. The kettlebell training has been fantastic. Strength wise, I'm doing really well. From the last couple months, I think I PR'd or almost PR'd all my Olympic lifts. Yeah, been moving really, really well. I got through a bunch of the high level CrossFit game or semifinals and quarterfinals workouts pretty well. Some not so much, but mostly because those movements are out of my wheelhouse. But yeah, not feeling anything negative right now. So really watching that very closely. Um, Tracking a little bit, especially on days where I know things are going to be a little bit wonky, a little bit wacky. But calorie counting, they're in North America, labels are allowed to be off by up to 20%. So if I'm aiming for 2,000 calories, I could be, which I'm not, by the way, I could be anywhere from 1,600 to 2,400.
Yeah, that's a
So
plus or minus of 20%. Like that creates such a huge range that you can't possibly be precise.
exactly, and I'm not weighing my food. I'm not. If you took 20 people and say cut me, 8 ounce chicken, we're gonna get a lot of different cuts. So kind of tracking, I'm understanding it's a range of that, but for the most part, I'm really relying on biofeedback, really relying on volume metrics. I'm a big proponent of that for hunger cues and helping to control what we're eating, being very mindful with my eating.
So when you say volumetrics, give people that are less nerdy than us an understanding of what you mean by that term when you say volumetrics.
Okay, so I'll kick back a little bit. So I always try to explain this. We have one brain, but two minds. We have my mind that thinks about stuff, and I know how many calories are going in my stomach, so you should be fine. We also have our body that's just trying to keep me alive. Way our stomach works, or how we get hunger cues, is how much material is in our stomach. It pushes up against sensors. My stomach says, I'm full, I'm happy. The other way it does it too is by texture. So there's a valve basically between our stomach and our small intestine. Our food needs to be broken down. So stomach acids, enzymes, the actual mechanic breaks it down to the point where it's almost like an applesauce. That's when it passes through. By making sure I'm eating a lot of whole foods, lots of fruits and veggies, lots of whole chicken, that kind of stuff, my stomach has food in it for a much longer time. So I'm satiated. That's why I'm always trying to have, you know, 8 to 1,200 calories in the morning where I'm going to feel satiated. I'm not getting those hunger cues. My cortisol is not spiking. My body doesn't think we're about to go into a famine. So understanding that's how my stomach works and that's how my stomach communicates to my brain, need more food, really focusing on that. So
Mm.
when I'm on a fat cut, I might actually be eating more material because I'm eating 5 to 6 cups of raw fruits and veggies a day to try to keep my stomach happy, food in all the time, making sure my metabolism is working nonstop because it takes energy to break down food,
Yeah.
especially whole foods.
The
So,
one piece that I love from a volumetric standpoint, like one of the ways that it becomes really clear, is if you have ever needed to keep your weight up, or if you've ever been on an intentional high calorie bulking diet. Like you hear about like, guys like Hopthor or, Eddie Hall or, these power lifters that are doing huge volume and they need to consume 8,000 calories a day. And you're like, how do you even get that much calories in? Well, they go the other end of the spectrum where they're going very low volume, high calorie density type of foods because there's actually a diet called the vertical diet that is
Yep.
intentionally made for things that are easy to digest and calorically dense, like white rice, things that are very simple, cream of wheat, that, that your body can break down very easily. Because if you try and get that many calories from whole foods like broccoli, chicken breast, you're good luck. You're going to be,
It's a lot of food.
it's a lot of food. So
Yeah.
we're just literally talking about volume, like the amount of space that it takes up inside of your stomach, which is why like I've challenged people, go eat 500 calories of broccoli without putting anything on it, right? Like good luck with that, but go eat 500 calories of chocolate chips. You're
Oh,
talking
absolutely.
a couple of handfuls, right? Like, there's very different volumetrics and that's what the term means. I just wanted to give people kind of some specific examples of what that means when you think about it that way, because it's a little counterintuitive, right? That you could be eating fewer calories but more total volume for your stomach, and that's kind of what can help you stay satiated even though you're eating less calories than what your body is used to taking in.
I'm getting comments all the time when I'm at my office, and people's like, "You're supposed to be on a fat cut. Like you have 3 containers of food in front of you." I'm like, "Yeah, yeah." I mean, we the goal in a fat cut is not to eat as little as possible. It's to eat as much as possible while still losing fat. So staying satiated is so important. I remember when I first started my first nutrition coach, I was terrified, and one of the things he said to me is, "You never have to be hungry. You shouldn't be. We should not be hungry if we can avoid it." So it's very counterintuitive, and that's part of one of the things with being a nutrition coach is we have to really show people and what actually makes sense. There's so much noise out there. There's so many bad slogans. Eat less, move more. 4 words. Awesome. It must work, right? It's so
Super
catchy.
simple, calories in, calories
Yeah.
out. That's all it
Oh,
takes.
that's all it is.
It's
Yeah.
just it's
There's
Kiko,
nothing
baby. It's
else.
just Kiko. That's all.
Yeah. So it's one of the big parts of being a coach. You have to really explain all this to people, and when you hear people say it, it's like that's just too easy. That can't possibly work.
It's counter programming. You have to undo some of the messaging that's been kind of
And that's
ingrained in people, beaten into people's heads. So what are kind of your what have the key habits been for you that have been successful for your fat cut so far?
So one of the big hacks I have. So I'm a big fan of anchoring new habits, positive, onto old habits. So
Habit
one of the
stacking
great,
for the win.
absolutely, habit stacking, and if it's already established, you can add something to it. So one of the big ones that almost all my clients use is the veggie bucket. So when you come home from grocery shopping, do you just leave the food out and I can put it all away tomorrow, right?
Nope, everybody puts it away right away, I think.
Right. So what we do, I try to encourage people is take your fruits and vegetables that you bought, wash them, and immediately start cutting them and getting them ready to prepare. Your veggie bucket sits at the front of your fridge, not the back, the front. Idea behind this is I'm starving and I need a snack. That thing's staring at me. The healthy option was just made super easy. And if I don't want that, I start to ask myself, okay, am I hungry or am I looking for stress eating or am I looking to eat out of boredom? Helps you get that second, between the urge and the action to make sure I'm doing a healthy option. Also, days where you want to come home, crap, I didn't do anything for dinner. That's when it's so close to pop out that skip the dishes and order pizza. Now you have the fruits and veggies already prepared for you. Easy stir fry, easy snack to make a dinner. I do the same thing with my chicken. I have it all in bags, marinated already. So it's super easy. If I ever have to make something really quick, or Sarah, thing of chicken, the veggies are there. We just made a really, really simple meal quickly because we had already stacked the habit. So fruits, veggies, absolutely key
Do you guys
to
do you guys
everything we
have a
do.
do you guys have a rice cooker by chance?
We do.
That's one of my favorites. Like
Yeah.
like because you're talking like we're talking about simple hacks to have food on hand. Like you it's 45 minutes to cook 2 cups of rice or 2 cups of brown rice or quinoa or whatever, right? And
Yep.
Like, and if you have that already pre-cooked, and then you just throw it in the fridge, and you've got veggies already prepared, you've got rice that's already pre-cooked, and then all you have to do is cook your protein in your wok. So you've got your protein like ready to go. You cook it, take it out, throw your rice in there, throw your vegetables in there, cook that, and then throw your protein back in, stir it all together. Five minute,
Done, right?
5 minute, 5-10 minute dish right there. Like, that's
Exactly. So
my
by
favorite.
adding, at spending 5 to 10 minutes when you're putting your groceries away, you've created this situation where it's going to help you get out of that. I'm hungry. I'm getting skip the dishes. So absolutely been a must for me on that. Two, I protect my sleep very diligently while I'm in a fat cut. So I'm up pretty early.
It's been hard for us to get this podcast recorded because you've done such a good job being like, nope, I gotta go to bed.
Yeah,
I can't be up that late tonight. You're an hour ahead of me, which isn't helpful. You're up early and I'm a night owl, so there's all of those things. But we
yeah,
made it work.
becoming one of the 545ers in the for the gym crew. It gets addictive, and I think that's one of the big things you always talk to the morning people. It's they protect their sleep. So I am in bed usually by 9 or 9:15. I make sure it is a dark room, it's cool. If I've had a bad day or something like that, I'm okay with taking a little bit of a CBD aid. So have to protect the sleep. I mean, so many people, we want to stay up late, or we're going to wake up early if we have bad night's sleep because we're going to get that workout in, right? It's so important to get my workout in. No, no, no. Take the extra hour and a half of sleep. Rest, digest. It lets everything reset. Lets our bodies heal. So absolutely, very, very, very stringent on sleep. And then really trying to limit certain things. So never can't have anything, but desserts, processed food, high caloric drinks. Not saying I've cut them all out, but I'm definitely limiting it significantly more. Probably, we've talked before. I believe, I know there's a higher power, and that higher power loves us because of fermented and distilled beverages.
So much my
Exactly. But you know what? In
difference
a
between
fact,
living in maintenance and being on a cut, right? I'm having a beer, Matt is having water.
yep.
That's because I'm not actively in a cut right now. I'm just
Yep.
living in maintenance and living my life. But this will be the only
Yep.
beer I'll have tonight.
But yeah, so those are kind of the key things that I'm working on. And then also being nice. I'm trying to silence that inner boy. It's why I only weigh myself once a week. Scales can fluctuate. 2 to 5 pound fluctuation is completely normal. You might have done a really hard workout. You might have inflamed. Our body is X amount of water. I've heard between 40 to 60% water. That goes up, that goes down, the scale jumps. So really trying to focus on that once a week, hop on the scale, see what happens, but I don't let myself get beat up over it. So those are all the big factors I'm working on, but definitely the being nice to yourself is so important. And it's what we really try to stress to all my clients is you're not a piece of shit. You're not doing anything wrong. You're taking action. Like you've gone from precognitive to cognitive to action. That's amazing. So
We got to put that on a t-shirt. Phoenix Wellness, you're not a piece of shit.
honestly,
Your new tagline.
it is probably one of the things I have to talk to people the most about where, I don't know where these 30 pounds came from. And I can't believe I let myself do this. And I'm such a piece of shit. And, I went out last night and I had 2 drinks. I shouldn't have had any drinks and I shouldn't have had that. Be nice. Be nice
Yeah.
to yourself. It's okay.
The space between your ears, very dangerous neighborhood. People get mugged there. It's crazy how comfortable we are talking, saying terrible things to ourselves that we would never say to another human being.
Absolutely. It's that we all have that inner bully. And especially when it comes to nutrition, and if, you're reaching out to a nutrition coach, you're probably unhappy with something.
Yeah.
And you're going to blame yourself, but you shouldn't. It happens. Nutrition is so hard. There's so much misinformation. There's so many confusing fads out there. So that's why I always tell people, be nice. Be nice to yourself. You're doing something which is more than most people do.
No, I checked my spreadsheet and you've been on a fat loss cut for 5 weeks, which means you started your fat loss cut in the end of May, which that means you're doing a summer fat loss cut. Explain
The
yourself.
best time. It is honestly the best time to start a fat cut. Most of us, we think January, New Year's resolution, want to get that summer body. when we're going to be making changes to our day-to-day lives and everything, I just find it so much easier in the summer because I'm up here in Canada. We have 4 seasons: almost winter, winter, still winter, construction. Some of the best activities we can do for people getting on starting is going for walks. People ask me all the time, what's the best type of fitness if I want to start losing fat? Walk. Our bodies are made to walk. It's low stress, high recovery, like really, really quick recovery. If you love CrossFit, do CrossFit. If you love Zumba, do Zumba. If you love anything like that, do it out of love, but it's not going to be, the major changing factor. So walking in the summer, a lot easier. Fruits and vegetables, they're in season and they're delicious. Start going to things like farmers markets. That's one of my clients I'm working with right now, where she had a bad relationship with food. She only ate the same things every single time and it got super boring and she was punishing herself. Part of her homework is you're going to go to a different grocery store, like an ethnic grocery store or a Polish. You're going to go to a farmer market and you're going to try new things. Everything's in season, everything's fresh. It gives you a great idea. And if we can start to build happy and healthy habits in the summer, it makes it a lot easier than when you're bogged down, stuck inside in the winter. That's when, the pantry is yelling at you because it's minus 30. You don't want to feel like digging out your car. Okay, Netflix and chip binging. So if we can start to establish the healthy habits when it's a nicer weather, when you have more access to doing different things, I find it super helpful.
Yeah, and I think another piece to that, especially for those of us in the northern climates, right, is it's much easier to get a lot more sunlight exposure, right?
Oh,
And
vitamin D.
yeah,
Absolutely.
get that vitamin D, and also it ties to not just the vitamin D, but also the sun exposure that gets you that UVA, UVB first thing in the morning.
Mhm.
You're gonna get better circadian rhythm. It helps you wake up out of your sleep, and then when the sun starts to go down, which it goes down later, right? You'll be ready to wind down. So you generally have a larger activity window because we are tribal hunter gatherer evolved animals, so we tended to move more when there was more sunlight hours. So it would track that we would actually be able to get a higher level of baseline activity during the summer because we get more sunlight. We get better sleep wake cycles. We're active longer. Like you said, the temperatures make it a lot easier for us to get outside and actually do some of these things. I think all of the things. I mean, you and I've talked about this, a few times. Like summer is actually one of my favorite times to do a cut because
Absolutely.
for all of the reasons that you said, but I love to like just gorge myself on strawberries, or you go strawberry picking, or you go grab whatever looks good at the farmer's market, or whatever look, and it's super cheap too. That's the other thing that's great about summertime uh fresh produce buying, is it's like, oh, not only are the strawberries delicious right now, but they're like $2 a pint. Okay, cool. Like I can get a pound of strawberries for $2. Cool. That's incredible. In the wintertime they're terrible and they're like $7.
Hmm.
you know
It's a lot harder to find that enjoyment when it's winter. And like I said, all the produce, or I'm saying eat more produce, but it all stinks right now. But it's also a great thing where I like to kind of gamify and make nutrition fun. And I said, you're going to be eating more fruits and veggies. Take your husband, go to a farmer market. Go plan a trip out to the countryside and drive around and see what you could have. It kind of creates a fun experience for your nutrition, which isn't always, we're nerds, we love this stuff, but people don't want to be obsessing about this. They don't want to be thinking about, I have to do this, I have to do this. But you can make a game out of it. You can make a little bit of fun. You can make some outings, some social engagements around good nutrition. All of a sudden becomes a lot more palatable.
I love the like try a new vegetable thing, or try a new supermarket thing that you put in front of your client. I love that. That's a great, like, I did that a while back, where I was like intentionally going to learn how to cook different vegetables and make different dishes from. I haven't done that in a while. So now I'm going to take that challenge back up, because
Yeah.
I've been largely sticking with, my broccoli and things that I know that I enjoy, and I eat them fairly regularly, but like I haven't made like eggplant parmesan or anything like anytime recently, and there's no good reason not to. Now's a great time to do that. So I'm gonna
Yep.
I'm gonna take that challenge on, actually. I know
Ah, I,
you don't need
I,
to do
I
it, but
like
I'm gonna
it.
do it.
Yeah. So like one of the things I like to do as well, there's a local kind of farmer market here, and they have once a month you get a veggie box. You have no say. what's in it, but it's all
Oh yeah,
fresh,
the
local.
market share. Yeah, yeah, I love it.
Exactly. And so I have no idea what this food is. I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna eat it. Oh my God, I love this. It's fantastic. Or I hate it. It kind of makes a little more fun. So you don't know what you're getting.
Quick AI hack for, since I'm an AI nerd, since we have this capability now, you get your veggie share and you're like, I don't know what the fuck this is. Pull out your phone, point your camera at it. Not only will it tell you what it is, but you can also then ask for, hey, help me find a recipe, a healthy recipe to use this leek. I've never had leeks before, right? Like, what do I make?
Yeah,
What do I make with leeks? Oh, potato leek soup or whatever, right? Like, I don't know. I'm just throwing that
well,
out
absolutely.
as an example, but like, I love that you now have the option of like pointing your camera at things and it can actually point you to recipes, which is super helpful for people that don't have any experience, because some of these ingredients can be like intimidating. Like, you get an artichoke,
Absolutely.
like what the hell do I do with a whole artichoke? I don't know. I've never, like, I have no idea what to do with this thing. So
No,
it just sits in the
it's
fridge,
amazing.
but
Sometimes
you
you
can
have
you
to.
can learn.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people sometimes lack, like you said, those basic skills. A friend of mine had a NHL player, just drafted as a nutrition client, and they had to take a step back because he didn't know how to cook a chicken breast. And that's legit. You went through college sports. How many of those guys cook for themselves?
Very few. We were all at the cafeteria, man. Like, that's where we lived, right? Like,
Yes,
I was one of the few people on the football team that knew how to cook.
yeah, and it's a big issue. That's why people are eating so much processed food, so much skip the dish. We sometimes lack those skills.
Is
So
that like Uber Eats or like DoorDash for those of us on this side of the boat?
exactly the same thing. Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Food delivery apps. Yeah,
There you go. Okay. Yeah, I contextually picked up on that, but we're selfish American audience here. So well, Matt, all right, you're getting close to your bedtime here. So I want to make sure I can get you to bed on time. How do people follow your new brand? How do they follow you as a nutrition coach? How do they reach out to you? How do they hire you? What are all the socials, and how do we get at you?
absolutely. So Instagram is Phoenix_wellness_CA. You can find that out. I can also follow my lifting page directly, or my personal account. That's Matt Borris, 2 R's. There's a link to Phoenix Wellness in there. Also, www.phoenixwellnessca.com is the website, with the email address and everything. We can talk, have a quick chat, and if anyone from this show does want to have a quick talk, I'll say, I'll offer, a 15-minute, discovery call for anyone that wants to talk, see what nutrition coaching is about. If you have any direct questions, just make sure you drop that you're listening to this podcast, and we'll find a time to make it work.
Awesome. Appreciate you. We'll put all the handles and the links and everything in the episode description too, so people will be able to find you there. So, my friend, it was great as always to catch up with you. I will see you in 24 days or so, 23
2020.
days.
Yeah, you'll come up a little bit early to help us set up, because we
Yeah.
like to use you as slave labor. We
I'll
appreciate
probably get
that.
in
So
around I'll probably get in on Friday this year. It's going to be a little bit tighter than usual, but that doesn't mean that we can't still have all the fun that we normally have. So I'm really looking forward to it.
awesome. So am I. It's gonna be a great event, and can't wait to see everyone.
Appreciate you coming on, Matt. We'll talk soon. See you, brother.
Thanks, Jordan.